Hello, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and on Instagram I'm posting as Knitting in Our Jeans when I'm posting. I have been so nose deep in either knitting or the counter cross stitch, which is right over here, and I'll show it. I haven't been posting anything at all. I really could be doing daily updates of.
You could.
This is what I did today, which I would actually be showing that there would be some progress.
I mean, I can still tell there's been a lot of progress on that.
Yeah, this is a lot more filled in down here. But anyway, we will show you.
You'll see it.
So, yeah, and we've been out on the boat some. I managed to get headache on Thursday. So I learned something. One should not go to physical therapy and then run over to the boat and then wait for an hour for the beloved to show up before you start having lunch. Because in that hour, I should have been drinking water so that I wouldn't get dehydrated. And I had a problem
starting. Well, because you can't drink water at PT anymore because you have to have your mask on.
Well, I finished almost the entire bottle. Stick it up under my mask. But I needed at least another bottle of water, and I waited until Richard showed up, and we got on the boat, and then of course he wanted to get off the mooring immediately, and I'm trying desperately to find things to drink. Anyway, by 3:30, I had a headache. Took some Isabell. By 4 o'clock, I had a screaming migraine, gave myself a shot. So that by 5 o'clock, when we finally got off the boat, I could drive home because we came in separate cars. So we have a little thumbnail. I have to sit there and drink for a little bit before we get out on the boat, because otherwise I'll have baked brain. And it's like, so, and it, it's enough to make me hesitate for a little bit, which I hesitated this afternoon about going out because it was warm, and I had a little bit of something going on. It was like
90 degrees when we went to take the car over.
And I said, maybe not.
As you all know, we suffer from migraines, so the storms that have been coming through New York and Jersey and Pennsylvania and Connecticut, that whole area, have kind of been causing us a decent amount of pain.
Yeah, I had a problem one day this week, Thursday.
When I was out on Wednesday. I was
you were out
knocked
on Wednesday.
So
I had Thursday afternoon and a rest day on Friday. Yes.
Yeah, and Friday or Saturday when I came over last night, you were saying that you had a little something, and I might have had a little something.
Right. So we're trying to balance things.
Yes.
Anyway, so I'm now trying to learn how to balance things between PT and going out on the boat, because PT is right down the street from the boat. That's what makes sense, is just go over to PT, get done, go over to the boat. And if people were on time, as they had been last week, it would have been fine.
Oh, someone was running a bit behind his
his
ETA?
Yes.
I see. Yes.
That's the problem.
I understand.
And so I need to pack. I need to pack my drinks on ice. I need to put ice packs in, and then
which we have an absolute plethora here at the house,
because we've been ordering meat from an online butcher that has, I think we talked about before, is really good. So, but we get all these ice packs, and my husband seems to be collecting them.
Well, because just in case, the power goes out, then you don't have to unpack and worry about the stuff in the freezer going bad. Didn't you hear his whole rant when we teased him about it?
Food in the freezer.
Not going there.
That's the problem. Anyway, so we're learning how to deal with these things and not get dehydrated. It wasn't, until my headache spiked. It was a lovely day on Thursday.
I bet.
We went out. We got across to Larchmont and American Yacht Club. We didn't go as far as beginnings of Connecticut, but it was nice. And we were sailing. First we motored because there was no wind. It was like a lake. The fellow who was there to kind of babysit or oversee the sailing club was kvetching because it got to be 12:20 and nobody in the sailing club had shown up because it was dead flat. So they were having to paddle back.
Oh, no.
And the kid who runs the launch is going, they're never here on time. And he goes, well, my time is worth something. I went, it's flat. You don't have an engine on your boat. You can't go anywhere. It's absolutely flat. It's like a lake out there. There's no wind. If I blow at you, you would feel it from 30 feet away. So he's just crabbing away. And so finally, and the sailing group is 6 teenage girls. So him being crabby with them is not going to go over well at all. Luckily, my beloved showed up before the girls actually came in.
So
we were on the launch as they came paddling around. Poor things. It was so hot. So, and he was going, well, what did so-and-so do when they were late for him? He goes, he waited. It's like, where are you going to go? It's not like he left his job at lunch hour to come over. He goes sailing every day. He's retired.
I was going to say, is he retired?
He's retired.
Then, yeah.
And obviously it's such a sunny disposition that he can only get a few people to go with him.
Obviously.
So, anyway, I have to drink more. So I have to carry more drinks with me.
More waters.
More waters.
More iced teas.
Yes. I am one of those people. I'm so glad that they started bottling water and bottling iced tea because I was never one to be able to drink soft drinks. My mom didn't believe in them, so I never got used to them as a kid. So it's been difficult trying to acclimate to them as an adult.
And you do pretty well with your reusable water bottles, too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. That's what I had. I had my, what's it?
Flip top?
Yeah. Cannon.
I don't remember.
Camelback. But having bottled water and iced tea in cans and stuff like that means that you can take things that are not carbonated around with you, which is really quite nice. And as I said, the sailing on Thursday afternoon was nice once the wind came up, which was about actually early, 2:30, which was nice. Your father's being very good at reefing the main and reefing the jib. I'm very impressed because I like to sail flat. You do. And when
he and I have a little bit more of an adventurous streak.
And if he's going to be at the helm when we're like this, that's fine. But when
which is why we do it when you're like I'm on a nap or when I'm on the boat.
When he decides though that I'm at the helm, it's going
no.
like this.
Not okay.
I'm not okay with this.
No.
So
this is also why Mother is petitioning for a catamaran.
Yeah, they sail flat. If they're not flat, you're over. So, well, it would be nice on days like this where you just walk down, get on the boat, and if the sun is not your friend, you walk inside. I mean, well, next year will be a whole other story.
So, as you can see, I'm wearing a new sweater.
Oh my God, you must be dying of heat prostration.
I'm not actually, because I've got shorts on.
Oh yes,
and I'm always cold. So
I said it. She looked like she was German.
So I've got shorts on and I've got knee-high socks.
What is the musical? Cabaret. She looks like she's from Cabaret from here down.
This is the Artichoke French with these beautiful cable details up the side and up the arm.
And how long have you been working on this?
So I technically cast it on September 2015, but I only had it finished up to here. Of just each sleeve.
And why was that?
I just put it in timeout. I don't actually remember why. But I knit it in 14 days. I picked it back up on the 27th and knitting approximately 1,400 stitches a day.
Which is your 10 rows or whatever.
Yeah, which was how much approximately I was doing on the Vellicore for the intentional knitting.
It in, you said, 2 weeks?
And I finished this in 2 weeks. So...
How bad could it be?
I mean, yeah.
And it's got cables. And it's got a cabled neck.
Yes, so the neckline is just beautiful. It's a mini cable it's a mini applied cable to the neckline of the rest of the cables. It's just beautiful. I'm really pleased with it. I'm really glad I ended up taking out the arms, like I told you I did on Wednesday. I had attached them, and one side was too far, so the cable would not have matched like its positioning on my shoulders and down my arms on each arm. It would, one of them, I think it was actually this right one, would have been 3 stitches back, and so I wouldn't have gotten matching decrease points at these raglans, and I really like that.
I love it.
So I'm glad, and it matches across the back.
Now,
these two aren't.
The pattern has the cutouts for your thumbs?
Yes.
Very nice.
So I can wear it, you know, I can also, it's also pretty comfy to wear kind of scrunched up, you know, because I do wear a watch, so that's something to think about. But on those really cold days, you just want to do this.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, and that's why I added the thumb holes to the Cora I made when I made that years ago.
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah. So, this is made out of Jill Draper Makes Stuff Empire, which is the same stuff yarn that Mom made her
brioche
jacket out of.
Lovely to work with.
It is. It's got a lot of veg matter in it.
It does. It does. It's certainly wilder than some of the yarn I've used.
Yes, but it was still really lovely.
You really are picking weeds out of it.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I threw this in the washer and the dryer, incidentally.
Which we couldn't believe because it's 100% wool.
Couldn't believe. But I did, when I finished the sweater, I knit a little swatch to go in the laundry because I do have my original swatch, but I don't remember how I originally treated that. So I didn't.
2015.
Yeah. So I didn't want to wash that because I didn't know if it was already washed or if I had just done it in the sink. And so
I would say probably then in the sink.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I washed and dried my swatch, and there's no felting on this. And I see some like pre-felting happening on the actual sweater, but I also
rather vicious with it today.
think that it's, I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I also don't think I'm going to be putting it in the dryer every time I wash it.
You have a gleaner.
Yeah, yeah. So I do think it'll be nice, and it reacts really well just being in the washer on hand wash. So that's really nice, because that got a lot of the veg matter out of it, in the first place. And
the hand wash cycle's nice.
Yeah. And so once I did put it in the washer and dryer, it was still wet, so I did, not wet, but it was still damp. So I did pin out the collar so that it would stand up a little bit more so you could actually see the cable.
I love it.
And I did kind of try to open up the cables along the arms and down the front. And then I...
Very nice.
Just because...
It reminds me of, was it Wink Ink?
Yeah, the ink. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really loved it. It was a wonderful knit. It was really well written. And I can see why people want to make all of them. Because I know she has a hoodie version, and I think a cardigan version. Maybe the cardigan and the hoodie are the same version. I don't remember.
Possible. And
she also has wristers and a hat.
Wow.
I do have about 200 yards of this yarn left over. So I might hold on to it and see what...
It's a pretty color.
It's a very pretty color. I think yours is more teal.
Yes,
yeah.
Mine is. Mine was supposed to be blue.
What is in my sleeve?
Other than your arm?
Yeah,
more veg matter.
No, there's a... I think it's a pill, probably. Probably a very large pill from... No, it's a manufacturer's knot. Okay, that's what that is.
Okay.
So, yeah. But it is a beautiful color. I do have another skein of this, and by skein I mean the giant ball.
Oh,
Yeah, the 1280 yard skein.
What color?
In gray for a cabled sweater. It's called Tonks' Togs, and I've had it in my queue forever. And I kind of want to make that and see how much of the gray I have left over. And then I was going to say, do you have any of yours left over?
It would be back here.
Okay.
Someplace. I had a little bit, not a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to look.
Because I could look and then see.
It would be back in here. In that
so this is the sweater I'm looking at making in the gray. With those beautiful cables all over. And it's got this beautiful, like, asymmetric neckline.
Oh, how pretty.
And and it's a different cable on the front than on the back. So I think that would be really nice. Is it a different cable on the front and back? I don't know. No, it's not. It just looked different in the screen. It's not. But it's an all-over cable, and I really like it. Like the concept of it and the cables, and so I might, that might be something I do this winter. So I also finished this for the Nerd Enablers, which is, so Nerd Girl Yarns Ravelry group. We created a new group called Nerd Enablers, just so that we could continue on
doing what?
With the group. The fact that Krista is no longer dying currently. So on Nerd Enablers, we're having a Cold Dead Hands along, which is
what, take out of my cold dead hands. Got it.
You will not get your hands on this until you take it out of my cold dead hands. So this yarn was one of mine previously, and whips count because we don't care. We just want you to keep knitting, especially in these times when people are, dealing with high anxiety and new situations. So I declared this as one of my finished objects because it has been something I've wanted, and now that I have it in my life, it is definitely going to be a take it off my cold dead body situation, because it is
lovely.
So nice, y'all. I really think if you were on the fence about making one, just do it.
Hop right off.
Just do it. But yeah, and so I was thinking about that with the 200 yards. I could do something I could do a color work something, especially if you have anything left over.
I had some, but I don't know. Well, I'd have to look.
We can look.
Yeah.
There's time.
There's time.
So yeah, that's that. And it's really comfortable, the yarn, as like woolly as it is, and you discovered it when you washed the skeins, that it definitely softens up and relaxes.
Yes.
So, yeah, I finished that, and I wove in all the ends and did all of that yesterday, which was so exciting.
Very exciting.
But, yeah, so then, do you want me to keep going?
Keep going. I'll get to the end of this row, and then I can hold this up.
So, I also have been working on my test knit, which I think
which is gorgeous.
Had just started last time we spoke. I don't remember. So this, I've got less than 10 rows to do.
Wow, until you get to the sleeves?
No, until I get to the part where it's like measure. So the measurements that she's given us are in centimeters. So this, what I'm measuring right now, is in inches. And right now I'm at 10 inches of length.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she wants 36 or 38 centimeters, and I don't know that conversion off the top of my head. But if it's 2.5 centimeters to the inch, I've got 25 centimeters, so I'd have to do another 11 or so, I think. But once I'm done with the color work and I have a few rows in the main color, I am going to probably try it on and see, because I like the idea of having it maybe a maximum of 12 inches long, because then it'll hit me at high hip, and I really like that idea. I'm not sure. I've made a lot of longer sweaters. This one, The Cranesbill is longer. The Humulus I made for last Rhinebeck was longer. And I kind of want to get, I want to get more
variety, more diversity in your sweaters.
Yeah. So, and I think this one would be really good with some, of my more high-waisted outfits.
Yep.
And it's just so pretty.
It is very pretty.
And I've got less than 10 rows, so that'll probably get done before I go to bed tonight, knowing us.
Yes, because we have at least one more show to watch.
At least.
At least, yeah. What did we watch? The Old Guard last night.
Yes, that movie.
Which was a good B movie.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was a good B movie. I wouldn't say it was aces, but
no,
it was enjoyable. It had Charlize Theron in it, whom I didn't recognize with dark hair.
Yeah.
I knew I'd seen her, but and I had like 3 actresses' names that were kind of like floating around in my head, but I wasn't so motivated to actually look it up until the very end. So, is it ready for me?
I guess so. I only have one more thing to talk about.
All right. So.
Oh, we've got so much.
I have 4.5 patterns of this. Okay. So what this...
hold on. There you go.
Is I am
there
making
we go.
the body. So this...
You're making the shawl, the giant shawl collar that also becomes the like front and the fronts as well.
What happens is then there's a straight piece that comes through that is the sleeve and the yoke. And what you do is you make this into a giant circle, which is what it is, and you attach it this way. So the yoke goes in here, and then your sleeve is hanging out here. And this is then the collar and the body. So anyway, I am just a half a pattern past halfway. And I was pouting this week because this is the Harry Potter mission, and I had hoped to get an entire sweater out of it. And there was no way. My hands were hurting after finishing the test knit, which I loved. I love that test knit. I like the way it looks. Very pleased. But I was knitting like a fiend, and my hands just kind of cramped up. So I didn't work on it a lot. So I now have definitely more than half of the circle done, so I can turn it in and get 25% credit for doing my mission.
Good.
Yes. The other thing I did was Elizabeth had mentioned when I talked about extending the collar of the Varna.
Yes.
That maybe I was making it too big. So what I did was I picked out the cast off that I had here, and I doubled the stitches that I had. I believe.
You did. You did.
Yes. And then I was going to double it again.
You did.
And I did. And we decided it looked like it was getting ruffled.
I didn't see it. You said you were doing it, and I voiced my opinion that it could be becoming a bit more of a ruffle than a cowl, and you were like, no. I have another color I did this for. It's fine. And I was like,
it might have been, but I decided to take it out.
Yes.
So I took out, a good inch and a half. This last 2 weeks, I've been taking things out right, left, and center, which I think is a good thing. If you don't like the way things are going with the projects, well, do something to them so you'll like them. So I now have, see all of this? It's now wound around the hand. That's what I took out. So I'm going to put this entire ball into this collar the way it is.
Okay.
So then it can just fold over and do one of those things. So I'm going to turn in the Harry Potter thing, and then I think I'm going to go back to work on this.
Good.
To finish.
So you're going to finish the wedge.
I'll finish the wedge. Turn that in. Then the rest of the week I will work on this and my counted cross stitch.
Yes. How has that been going? Because I can see this.
Sometimes you just want to get on a tear.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get on a tear with the counter cross stitch. So now.
So she did.
I did.
Look at all this, y'all.
So hold up this corner. I actually did this stuff over here because I had used that color over here, and I decided rather than have these short little threads, I followed where else it went on the pattern and put it in. I'm almost finished filling in this grassy knoll area over there. And what I think I'm going to do,
just so you all can see it a little bit better,
look at next is fill in down here so that I can move the hoop up.
Okay.
And then I will, as I move it up, then I will get a little bit more space in amount in there.
Yeah.
There's 2 colors left to go in there, both greens. And
So that's the edge. This is the edge of the the work.
Yes.
So look at that.
So
it's beautiful.
I'm very pleased. And then this is also part of a grassy knoll, and up in here,
I think it's a flowering bush, but okay.
Yes. This is a boat, and I was trying to get enough of that done so I could do the outline stitching on it. So that's a goal. And then there are some French knots that go in here.
That you do after.
After, exactly.
Be careful, your needle's sticking.
Yes. I found that on the floor.
Oh, fun.
Yes. Whoops. Well, I'll just pull it through. I found one of them on the floor.
Good.
So I'm quite pleased. There's actually some white embroidery floss on here. And yet there are pieces or places on here where they don't have you put any embroidery floss, which I'm finding really odd. If they give you some of the white, why
But this is an ice blue. It's not a white. It's a blue, Mom.
I think it's a white.
No, your cloth is a blue.
We agree to disagree.
I don't understand how you're saying it's white. It's definitely blue.
It may look blue up here.
Look at that. It's blue.
Oh my goodness. Looks like to me, kind of like ladies with blue hair.
I love how I had to take a piece of paper and go, look. And you were like,
anyway, I've done a lot because that's what I sat there and did. I actually brought my high intensity light over that. It's kind of like Snoopy over my head.
It is.
It's great. It's absolutely great to have that much light on the whole subject.
Yeah.
So I've been moving along. The only thing I do find is I can't do this really late at night because my eyes tend to cross. And in fact, we were online with Katrina yesterday, and I've been doing counter cross stitch all day.
It was the Untangled.
And I managed to misspell her name, and I couldn't even see that I had.
But it was the Untangled. She does Friday. I think it's every other Friday or so.
Yes.
A interview with someone in the community.
Knitting community.
Within the knitting community. She's done some dyers and some designers.
In fact, one designer, Vanessa, can't remember Vanessa's last name. I just bought 3 of her patterns. She had a sale.
Oh, nice.
Buy 3, get 1, something like that. So thank you, Vanessa. That was a very interesting designer she had highlighted.
Yeah. So I think she's continuing it through the summer. You can sign up via the newsletter and also on the website, I believe. And also, if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll be one of the first to find out what the new plan for Rhinebeck weekend will be. Because I don't think we've addressed it yet. Rhinebeck itself has been canceled due to COVID.
For any of you who've ever been there, you understand why. It is crowded, shoulder to shoulder, all weekend. And this is on a farm fairground.
It's on a fairground.
Which is acres. And yet, we knitters fill it. And fill it shoulder to shoulder. There is no way they would be able to hold this. And in fact, the food stands, they're packed, and it's lovely, usually, this year it would be a disaster.
Due to COVID, they have decided to cancel the in-person event. They are working on determining if they're going to do something virtually, but that also means that all events surrounding Rhinebeck have been canceled, I believe, as well. I know Indy in person has been canceled. I believe she announced that. If not, sorry.
Yes, I think she did that on Friday.
So yes. So we will be finding out soon what the alternatives are, which will be fun. I have a friend who currently is still planning on getting married that weekend. We do not know whether it will be a Zoom wedding or an in-person or what.
It's a shame. That was going to be at the Villanova Chapel.
They're still going to get married at Villanova. Okay. It's only if the only difference is, do you all get to join because we put it up on the big TV?
Right.
But it was going to be great, and if we are able to go and to have as many people as regulated and all that, two of my very good friends, two of my best friends from Nova and I are still planning on going with our significant others, and we plan on taking some really cute socially distanced masked photos, because why not? But it is one of those things where it's going to be almost a game day decision. So our hearts go out to all who are planning such events and who had events like that planned and now are having to make changes.
We had one in our family that was for the last weekend in June, and it had to be canceled. It was canceled because most of us said we're not going. Yeah. Even our choir director has said he's not putting a foot inside the church until there's a vaccine. He is immunologically compromised, so it makes perfect sense. But it's a real concern. And for those of you who are in places where the COVID infection rates are going up, we sympathize and our hearts go out to you. We know how difficult it was here in New York. Wear a mask. If it makes us feel better, wear gloves when you go to the grocery store.
Put them on once you exit your vehicle. And take them
off on your way to the car.
But dispose of them either in a trash or in themselves, and then dispose of them.
To properly take off gloves, you peel them from the wrist down so they are inside out.
And then you put one in. You hold the one that you just took off in
your hand, and then you peel this one off so that the insides, which were fine because it was next to your hands, are now what's on the outside. You throw those away or pack them someplace when you reach your car, because your car should be fine and you don't want to touch your car with gloves that you have worn in a potentially contaminated area. So when I go out, I generally have 2 pairs of gloves with me because you never know where you're going to end up being. Sometimes I get in the car, find out my husband's run it down to less than an eighth of a tank.
See, I tend to carry 2 things of hand sanitizer in my purse because I have found that the gloves made my hands over, because of all the hand washing and then the lotioning, it dried them out even more. So I have just taken to sanitize, using hand sanitizer almost every time I get in the car.
If I'm pumping gas, I prefer to wear the gloves. But anyway, so I'll wear a pair to pump gas. I had to go to the doctor's office the other day for some, can't even remember, some checkup. And so I put on gloves to be able to punch the buttons in the elevator and then open the door because it's a lever. And then, so I actually put it on one hand. Yeah. So I had one glove for going into the office and a second glove for going out of the office.
But the point I was trying to make is, do not dispose of your PPE on the ground. Please dispose of it in a proper trash receptacle. And if there is none around, hold on to it. Throw it on the floor of your vehicle. Do not
throw it
litter.
On the ground. No, we're not.
And further contaminate everything else.
We're not big on litter.
So just be careful out there, y'all.
Be very careful. It's not a joke. You can get very sick. If you're lucky, it'll be mild. You know, I can remember, I know people are having COVID parties. And when I was a kid, mothers would send their children to homes that had measles. Mm-hmm. So the kids, we didn't have vaccines.
Right.
And so they wanted the kids who were friends to get it all at the same time. And yes, kids died of measles, but they felt that if you get it done at one time, then the kids are all in quarantine at the same time and be done with it.
This has far more reaching, outlasting
effects. It can have greater deleterious effects.
Yes.
So I would suggest not going to a COVID party.
Yeah.
We've been very cautious when we go up to the boat. We're wearing masks. I usually have my sailing gloves on. We walk through the club and out to the launch, get on the launch, get on our boat. We have maybe stopped to talk to a few people, but
it's all masked.
It's all of us are masked.
Yeah.
So we're not having any parties. We're not having any cookouts. I do miss going to the movies, like in the movie theater, because it is that surround sound event, and
we don't have Dad coming in every few minutes going, What's going on? My father didn't realize until today that every time we start watching something, even if Mom and I have seen it before, and if Dad is going in, and if I can tell that Dad is not going to sit there and watch the entire thing with us, I have to have it open, the Wikipedia page open on my iPad, or else
to be able to answer questions.
We won't get through the movie or show or whatever it is we're watching.
But I can remember being in Avalon, New Jersey for the summer, and going over to the Avalon movie theater, which was on a pier. It was on a pier over the ocean. I didn't smell. It was musty. But it was this big, old-timey movie theater, and we'd go and we'd watch John Wayne movies. And then there was also 2 movie houses down in Stone Harbor, which is how you knew it was the place to be. It had 2 movie theaters on the same street.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, it was 50 cents to go to the movies. So, you know,
how times have changed.
So you could choose between going to the movies or playing miniature golf, because there were 3 miniature golfs in Stone Harbor.
Mini golf is a big deal down there.
Very big. So, and then there were like 2 in Avalon. So you can't do that. Or I'm not doing that. Yeah. Even though it would be fun. And we haven't been down to the beach since beginning of May, when it started getting busy down there. We're not more than 10 minutes from Jones Beach, but until, say, after Labor Day, I don't think we're going back because it really is quite crowded. After Labor Day, it looks like the kids will be involved in school, whether it's full-time or hybrid or online. They will be at least with their heads in some kind of book, and we'll be able to go back to the beach and walk without having hordes of people, because also people are going back to work.
Yeah.
Which they weren't at work in March and April. So.
But yeah, what we're saying is be careful out there, y'all. It's still, it's not gone.
A joke.
And it's not a joke. Yeah. So be careful. Wear your masks. It's getting bad out there.
Some people will catch it anyway.
Yes.
No reflection on you.
No.
You know, if you've done the best you can, you've done the best you can.
But yeah, just be careful. So I just realized I haven't talked about this.
No.
So when I finished my Artichoke French, I realized I needed something else to work on. So I know. So given that there is a cold dead hands along happening, I pulled out my Big Apple. I think it's just Big Apple. Yeah, on Traveler from Vogue Knitting Live one year, from Dragonfly Fiber Arts, or Dragonfly Fibers.
I think it was the first year I went.
Yeah, it was the first year we went, or second year we went. I don't remember. I can look it up.
I think you were gone a year before
No, we went to Vogue together. I went to Rhinebeck a year before you did. Mm. Yeah.
It was early on that color came out.
Yeah. It was, let's see when I stashed it. I stashed it, so VKL 2014. So this is technically older than this. So I swatched it, and I ran, my swatch is downstairs. I ran that through the washer and dryer to confirm that, you know, being superwash, it would be fine. It is. So I have cast it on. I am on row 24 of the yoke, so I've done all of my increases.
What are you making?
So I'm making the Pull Me Over, which is
lovely
by Andrea Black. And it's this yoked part, and then it's this ribbed detail throughout the body. And it can be short sleeve or long sleeve. I have 800 and something yards, and for my size it says it would take 900 and something yards to make the full long sleeve. So maybe I'll make just past. Cool. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when it gets to that point, because I think this is something that I'm not going to knit sleeves first, because the construction is a bit different. Because after you finish the yoke, it says cut your yarn. So we're going to see what it says to do after that.
All right.
But I'm really liking it. I've done the Cora by Andrea Black, and it's one of my favorite sweaters. So I'm really excited to knit this one. And yeah, this is what we're working on. Nothing really came in the mail.
No.
Except I got a new phone, y'all. I got a new phone. Sorry, I'm very excited about this. I got the new SE 2020. So it is
cracked up on her.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
Mine we got in I got within the first week of the original SE being announced and released. I had it in my hands because my previous phone, I think was like a 4S or something, was dying.
It was correct. Yeah.
So
my phone, my version of
your
that year,
your 6X Max, yeah,
decided to overheat on Thursday. So I was overheated. My phone was overheated. It was an overheated day.
We're having such a good time.
I found out that the phone has a red thermometer when it's overheated.
Oh!
It has quite a pictorial, and it beeps, and it goes, I'm overheating, the phone is overheating, and it's got a red thermometer. So if I had brought ice packs, both I would be cooler, and the phone would be cooler.
Yeah. So I did get a new phone, which is very exciting because I also... It's working. And because I got it with the most memory you could possibly get for the phone.
Oh, cool.
Oh, my God. I have all of the
Save
things
all those
on it.
pictures.
All the things on it. So, yeah. That's all we've really got. I'm pretty sure I've got some stuff coming in the mail this week. That'll be exciting.
Cool.
But I'm
hoping to work away so I have maybe a finished project. Maybe the Varma.
Oh, yes.
Refinish.
I'm hoping to have maybe the body of my test knit done.
Okay.
But, yeah, so I think this is where
we're going to talk about weaving and ends.
Weave in some ends, which, I mean, I've already done, so...
No, I have some ends.
Oh, you have some ends? Good.
Yes.
And we're going to go and watch something.
Some cozy mystery.
Probably,
yes.
Knowing us.
We'll see you
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.